Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Hey, Jordy, did you know that we're on other platforms too?
Really, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and if you would like to talk to us, Discord and Reddit.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, you should subscribe too. Thank you.
One take. All right, we rolling? We rolling?
Why you do this?
We rolling, Tom?
What are you doing this for?
This movie sucks. This
No,
movie's
it's
fucking
not.
horrible. Don't watch this movie. Do not waste your 1 hour and 17 minutes of your precious life watching
Oh,
this
you
movie.
remembered how long the movie is, do you?
Yes, I
You
do.
specifically
because I have
remembered.
been counting down the
The
fucking
minutes?
nanoseconds before I get the release from this movie.
It's like what they did.
Tell me why this movie's good, because I need convincing.
Because it's one of the most complex time travel movies, and it doesn't present itself at all like a time travel movie. Presents itself like
As a fucking snooze fest. It presents itself...
movie was
It
fucking-
presents itself
No.
as a fucking essay that I have to pretend to understand for an hour
This movie-
until it gets interesting.
This movie was at 100% the entire time. The dial was cranked at 100%, and the tension and fucking like action level. This movie was you can't say this movie wasn't action packed.
I definitely can,
No, you
because
can't.
the only action that I would consider action was in the last actual 30 minutes
First
of this
of all,
movie.
explain what this movie is about, because I genuinely want you to like. What was the point of this
Well,
movie?
seeing as how you need a fucking doctorate to be able to understand this movie,
No, you don't.
I actually cannot tell you that much about this movie. All I know is that the first half an hour, they spout a bunch of apparently extremely factual stuff about electrical engineering.
Yeah, everything they described on how stuff worked was 100% accurate, and even I think the director is an electrical engineer, because a lot of stuff was like it looked hand sold and like it looked very like wholesome and stuff. Like I recognized stuff was like, oh, that's someone's built that's someone's thing that they made. I don't know. Yeah, like everything was literally completely scientifically accurate. It was kind of blowing my mind.
So let me give you a perspective of someone who isn't Tom. If you are...
Okay.
Imagine yourself, you've just woken up, right? And you wake up in the middle of fucking nowhere, and everyone around you speaks a language you don't understand, and then you have been told to make sense of it.
I didn't understand this movie because I didn't understand the physics on how the device worked. It didn't matter how they used the
That
device.
was an integral part of the story for
Not how the
30 minutes, half of the movie.
How they made the device doesn't matter. How the device functions on a physical level doesn't matter. How they use the device does matter.
Tom, they needed to make tables so that people could understand what the
people
fuck
made
happened
tables
in this movie.
to understand.
Oh, because that. All right, I'll leave that part then.
No, you need to explain like why this movie is kind of apparently
So-
complicated.
Very complicated. Is with many time travel movies, there's multiple timelines, right? That's a given because there's multiple of that person.
I mean, there isn't always multiple timelines. There could be one timeline that loops.
Well, in this case, there's
Yeah.
multiple, isn't there?
I think so.
Yeah. See,
There's multiple loops of multiple timelines.
I
I think that's how it works.
get confused pretty easily.
No, hold on. Because this movie's about time travel.
Yes,
I don't know if
That's
we-
the one thing I can tell you about this movie.
This movie
It is in fact about time travel.
but the time travel device in this movie is very unique because it doesn't you don't just go in it and then go to the past or the future. It's a loop. Like it has an A point and a B point, and then depending on how long you're in there, you can get off at any point. So you can go back and forward, I think.
Yeah, they go both.
I don't know if they ever go forward in time, but from a relativistic standpoint,
No, they only go forward, don't they? Because they check the scores and stuff in stock
yeah,
markets.
but that would be going back to the time.
No, it's going forward to check it,
But then
and
they
then
went-
they go back
But then they went back.
to make the purchases for the stocks.
No,
and
they
stuff.
stayed in the hotel.
But how would they have bought the stock? This movie is fucking bad.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't watch it.
no. They go back in time, back and forward, back in time. But they also, like, usually, like Back to the Future, they have it like a line and you, like, bend the line to create a new timeline. But with this, you can loop in a timeline or you can create a new timeline depending on if you interact or if there are any paradoxes. So there are multiple timelines with loops in them sometimes, and the loops can intersect in other timelines.
There was one point when I found out through the movie that this one guy could have gone forward in time and double penetrated his wife at the same time with himself.
That could have just happened anyway.
And that was the most exciting part of this movie for me, and I manufactured it myself.
I would do that.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
But would you do it to yourself or to someone else?
Both.
Fair enough.
Why wouldn't you?
You know what
you
you
have a time
like.
machine.
You know what you like.
You have infinite time to do whatever you want.
That's true. That's true. Why stop at just one extra Tom?
Yeah.
Go for as many as you can, dude.
Exactly.
So, okay, this is usually the point where I say we need to talk about the movie, but
No, I want you to explain like the plot.
all right, I will
plot
actually
details.
try my best to explain what I think I just watched.
Yeah.
We make this joke every time, like, did we watch this movie? I'm not convinced.
It applies to this one more than any.
Yeah,
At the end of the movie, I was getting kind of confused, and then I realized what was happening, and then I was still confused.
I don't think it helps that I watched this at about 30% of my neural function because I did not sleep last night and I woke up early for work, so I'm running on nothing.
But do you know, like, do you remember the start of the movie where there was 4 people each having their own conversations, and you only had subtitles for once, and you're like, why is it like this? And I'm like, it's mentally preparing you.
Yeah,
The intro of this movie is genius because it prepares you to be able to listen to conversations.
Yeah.
Isn't that really cool?
Like, okay, I have to admit,
This whole movie's genius.
if they had, what did you say? They had a $10,000 budget
I
for
was
this
just
movie.
guessing. Let me actually look up
Like,
what the budget
it
is.
obviously wasn't much because it looked like ass and sounded like ass.
It
and
didn't look bad. 7,000.
That's fucking nuts.
7,000
7,000 USD.
The fucking instruments they had are like more than $7,000. They had some nice logic analyzers and oscilloscopes. Those things are like $1,000 each.
We definitely came to one definitive conclusion, and that is whoever made this movie is a fucking nerd and an electrical engineer, because there is
He's also
no
a
way
genius.
that you could have come up with this if you are a regular ass person.
I mean, like, it didn't need to have intricate electrical engineering details. This could have been a movie about a magical cave they found that allows you to go back and forward in time.
I might have paid more attention if it was.
I guarantee you wouldn't have, since it wouldn't apply to you, since you have no, like, concept of magical cave.
I have no concept of electrical engineering. I have
You hang
more
out with
insight
me.
into a fucking magical cave than I have for, what did you say, oscilloscopes.
Yeah, oscilloscopes.
I don't know what that is.
Logic analyzers.
I have
Yes, you
heard
do.
the word.
Jody, what's an oscilloscope?
I have
Oscilloscope.
absolutely no idea.
It's a scope for measuring oscillations, Geordie.
Oh, obviously,
It's an oscilloscope.
I don't even know if I've uttered the word oscillation in my life.
Yes, you have.
I don't know if that's true.
Yes, you have.
All right, let me try and explain this movie, all right?
Okay.
Because that's what you asked me to do,
Yeah.
and I'll try and do it. I'll try and do it.
Thank you.
So at the start, okay, we get...
There was men.
They do not lube you in this movie, dude. It is full double
That's what I'm saying. It's
penetration.
preparing you to be
Yeah.
able to understand the movie.
And
The movie
There
comes
is-
with a demo.
yeah, exactly, yeah. There is a lot of fucking shop talk at the start that you will not understand. I'm confident saying that to everyone
They
listening.
talked about transistor cold junctions, and it was completely accurate.
See, and I'm sure as you're all aware
Yeah.
of this, that it is factual. Once you've gotten past that point, it starts to, like, open up a bit, and you get a little bit more of a wider audience who might be interested in it.
Yeah.
Because then you start realizing that what this guy is building and what he's come across and accidentally made is a time travel machine.
They thought they made like an anti-gravity perpetual energy machine, but
Yeah.
surprise, surprise, it's a fucking time machine.
Because this guy puts his watch in.
He puts a little egg thing in. What are those called? Like maraca? I don't know. Weeble.
I'm not sure.
He put a Weeble in there, and it grew fungus that has a predictable growth rate, and it was growing 6 years worth of fungus in like 5 days.
Yeah. So why didn't they go 6 years in the future then?
Because it's based on how long you're in there. That's why they set timers.
Oh, right. And so he put his watch in and it went forward, and then the guy who was telling about it was like, "Did you put your digital or your
Analog.
in there?" And he said both, just to be sure.
Because digital watches can be affected by like the
Yeah.
interaction of like electricity and photons and electrons and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter.
And then, as you find out, he has built a bigger one, and he himself has gotten
Did he
in.
really build it though, or
I
did
have
it show
no
up from
idea,
the previous timeline?
I actually have no clue.
Yeah.
It just shows up, I guess, and then
Yeah.
everyone turns out to be secret agents with earpieces, and
Yeah, at the start of the movie, he's wearing an earpiece, which is I didn't notice the first time I watched, and I thought that was kind of crazy.
you know what I thought? I noticed it, and I thought,
He was an asshole.
no, I thought, is this guy actually just like such a shit actor that he just left his headphones in while he was,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he has his lines in his ear.
or that,
I guess
like
he does.
he
But
probably does, yeah, but it's like, come on, man, like at least try. This is your fucking movie, you know, could possibly be your debut, you know.
he's the fucking director, the
I didn't know that.
blackhead dude.
Yeah, I didn't know
Aaron.
that.
Yeah.
But he, yeah, everyone turns out to be fucking Agent 46 from Hitman.
All two of them.
All two of them. And then at the end, a guy with a shotgun shows up who I didn't see through the entire movie.
That was the dude who they were trying to impress, like the father of Rachel or something like that, or grandfather. And I think he time traveled because they said his beard was longer. He was
Or
clean
they-
shaven one day.
Yeah, that's true. Or they fucked up the timeline or something.
And then he was a vegetable at some point, and then
this-
they gassed him.
Okay. Again, this movie makes absolutely no sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. You just need to spend a long time thinking about it for it to make sense.
And would I recommend this movie? Fuck no, I wouldn't.
Come on.
If you
Come on, you
enjoy,
would. You would.
If you okay, I would recommend this movie if you are Tom.
That's
And
not.
if you are a human being, I would not recommend this movie. If you enjoy not wasting your time, I would not recommend this movie.
Is this like a rating system? Since we're split view, we represent half of humanity and the other half. Like if you're
Well, this is
Tom,
Flick View, dude. This isn't Split View, dude. Come on, dude. This
yeah,
isn't Split
completely
View, dude. Come
different
on.
people.
No, I would say that this movie
Really?
caters
Really?
to about 3% of the human population.
You wouldn't just recommend it just to fuck with someone like, oh, hey,
It's not
Dad.
even like what would I get out of like
watching them be utterly fucking confused because it was hilarious
I would
watching.
be just as confused.
Usually we say this all the time because we watch movies out of context. Like we watch The Thing, and I fucking love The Thing. It's one of
Yeah.
it's on my list of favorite movies. But watching it in like a group or more and riffing on it, it doesn't work. Whereas this
Yeah.
movie, Geordie was silent for half an hour straight, which is
The fact
rare.
that I couldn't even see an opening for a joke or anything because my brain had to process at 100% of what I could muster
Yeah.
at the time. Because as I mentioned, I started work, or I left the house at 5 this morning, and
we didn't get food on time because of shit fucked up and all that. You know.
yeah, and you know, I am not running on much right now. I had to try really hard, and I have no clue. Maybe if I rewatched it, would I get something else out of it? But I won't do that.
Geordie
because I
at one
appreciate
point
my time.
was so starved on riffs and jokes that he found comedy in that there was no logo on something. There wasn't a logo on something, and he thought that was funny.
Actually,
What were you- what
I
were you
was
even
quite-
like-
I wasn't even a joke. I was proud of my noticing of that because
I don't get what
Tom's
you would...
an electrical engineer, or he's studying it, or
Yeah.
he's, you know, I would consider you to be one because you do it.
Thank you.
And he's always shown me, like, everyone puts on their PCBs and all that their little logo or their
Yeah.
name or something, and it weirded me out seeing one at the start of the movie with just green, like it had no logos or anything
Yeah,
on
but
it.
that's just since it was the other side probably did have stuff on it. Since
Yeah,
you
it's
get
just
this-
it's just my
yeah.
naive view. I'm so used to seeing all of the people like plastering their logos on there, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
'cause I
that's
show
weird
you-
that I've never seen just like a green ass PCB with a what is that, a LED screen on it.
It was
looked
it was
fake.
LCD close. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right. I'll give you a
Oh,
pass.
thanks, man.
It's because I show you all my PCBs, which have like I spend a lot of time putting art
yeah,
on them
and
since
yours
I
is
get
like
free silk
intricate
screen.
and have nice fucking like
Fonts and
logos and
stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
Like it's all flowed nicely, and that just looked like a toy.
It's because it's cheap.
Yeah, true. But with a $7,000 budget, I can believe it. You know.
It's probably just a taken apart microwave.
Would you recommend this movie, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important, like for like indie films that are both intricate, interesting, and important. The Three Eyes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
As in, I won't be watching it again. I think this was boring.
And I don't know how else to finish this.
Yeah, and I'm going to go now.
Okay, cool.
Bye.
See ya.